A homeless girl gives up her lunch for a blind lady, goes without food, and eventually obtains her mansion. Tale of the day. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Great efforts to ensure the well-being and happiness of an elderly blind woman who shared her homelessness once she became friends with her. However, Lena was eventually made aware of the woman's startling secret when she lost that beloved old friend. Who said dreams made of gold could not belong to people who sleep on Tarek? Lena lay on the chilly sidewalk and gazed up into the dim streetlight, thinking lyrically. The girl gave a bashful attempt at poetry a grin, but it was short-lived. She wishes she could share her passion for poetry with someone. She had been placed in several foster homes by life, but none of them considered her to be anything more than a troubled child who would be hard to nurture. It makes sense why she fled from them all. Lena was also aware that poetry had no place on the street. The 20-year-old homeless girl was withering away on the streets, and the world was too serious to even glance at her or hear her ideas on life. Lena, however, liked being outside. They were dangerous and chilly, yes, but so were the residents of the most opulent mansions. Lena embraced her empty stomach and slept off when her eyelids became tired from the streetlight overhead. Lena had a seat just across from the public library, adjacent to the bus stop. She enjoyed having access to all of the knowledge and opportunities she wished to pursue. The library stood out as a ray of hope against the never-ending storm of tragedy she had experienced in her life. Be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. Since she was a young child, she had spent every Sunday there. She had become acquainted with the librarian by this point, and she was even granted permission to use the toilet and read whatever she wanted to read. The owner of the dilapidated, abandoned bistro next to the library was equally gracious. Though it was obvious that his affection for the defenseless, attractive girl had more to do with his kind daily offer of a leftover sandwich. Lena was making ends meet, but her young heart was being tormented by loneliness every day until she saw a fresh face on the streets. The elderly woman, disoriented and walking with a cane, was about to pass out from starvation when Lena's powerful hands broke her fall just in time. It was then that she realized the elderly woman was blind. Lacking the power to speak, the elderly woman croaked, "Water! Water!" Lena assisted the woman in sipping water from a bottle by opening her rucksack. The old lady drank a few little swallows, then breathed deeply and grinned at Lena. "Petal, thank you very much." She stretched her aching feet and added, "I thought I was going to die." "Not today, ma'am," Lena said with a grin as she examined the woman to make sure she was all right. "Please call me Beverly, or Bev for short. And you too?" "My name is Lena. Glad to have met you, Bev." The two women were silent for a brief period of time. They had no idea that life had brought them together for a reason on that particular road. But over the course of the following few months, one question would break the ice and they would become the closest friendship of their lives. "Would you like to have a sandwich?" Lena jumped at the chance to ask, wanting to be with someone. Bev took a moment to compose herself. She nodded, realizing that no one had ever asked her that question before, tears welling up in her hazy eyes. With her wrinkled fingertips, she touched the face of her savior and saw that she was young and attractive. Lena and Bev discovered a benefit to each other's companionship from that day forward. They had discovered a caring soul in all of mankind, even though the world remained the same uncaring place. Bev started to view the world through the eyes of the girl when Lena read her poems to her. Bev would frequently cry and give the little child a hug, overtaken by the passion in her speech. Bev would remark, "You have a bright life ahead of you. I just know it." Bev was an old woman who was never particularly forthcoming about her personal life, but Lena was more than pleased to take care of her. For Lena, it didn't matter. What mattered was that she was back in the presence of a mother figure. The one major issue Lena was still having trouble with was getting food. She knew it wouldn't be proper to use the cafe owner's sympathies for her to get more food, and she'd tried in vain to win over the goodwill of practically everyone who passed by. Of course, Lena thought to herself, "I can let Bev have my lunch. She looks awfully frail, and I can always manage to find leftovers around the neighborhood." Consequently, Lena asked Bev to wait at the bus stop each afternoon while she went to get lunch. She would come back and give Bev the lunch right away. The old woman had inquired, "What about your lunch?" the first several times. "I see that I'm holding my own sandwich. Don't ask me to share. It looks way better than yours," Lena said, laughing away her hunger. The girl would go out later in the evening, while Bev was well sleeping, and scurry about for leftover food to satisfy her rumbling stomach. It had been about a year since the two women's endearing relationship began. Lena was walking back from the library one very brilliant Sunday afternoon when she saw Bev engaged in a serious conversation with a man dressed in a suit. He listened for the most part, then swiftly moved on. Bev gave the girl a gentle shoulder slap and burst out laughing, leaving Lena speechless. "Clearly a gold digger, that one," Lena remarked about the man. Regaining her composure immediately, Bev hugged Lena and said, "Don't forget that you are the daughter I never had, and you have a bright life ahead of you," all the while smiling. Bev's final hug made Lena's heart melt. She had no one left to share the sandwich with when she returned with it. On the streets that had become their home, Bev had taken her final breath. After a week without Bev's grin, Lena was overcome with loneliness once more. She noticed a familiar figure approaching her just as she was ready to cry again. It was the man dressed in a suit that she had seen the day before Bev passed away. "You! Why have you come here, and who are you?" Seeking someone to vent her rage on, Lena inquired. "Miss Beverly's attorney was me. She signed her will, which she had revised a few months prior, the day I went to see her." Lena paid close attention, though she was still perplexed as to how Bev, a low-income woman, could have afforded a lawyer with such a fancy appearance. "Miss Beverly gave everything to you, including her house and all of her fortune. Everything you require to know is included in this letter that she dictated to me." Lena, clueless, opened the letter and started to read. "Please pardon me, Lena, my lovely poetess. I misled you. I was alone and homeless, but I was never impoverished. Although I wouldn't describe them as such, I have a family. Soon after the death of my husband Jerry years ago, my boys removed their blind mother from their life. Jerry left me an enormous amount of money, but I quickly realized that my kids weren't deserving of anything." As Lena read the letter again, her heart began to race because she could hear Bev's words in her voice. "Their hearts will shatter now that I'm gone, not because they lost their mother, but because they lost a wealth. They will definitely find you soon, I'm sure of it. Lena, I'm not a mean woman. Only you bothered to adore my heart, even though I have one. Even though I couldn't see, I understood that you gave up your lunch and went without food for me. I had just been duped by you on the first day. I appreciate that you did not desert me as my kids did. I understand how lonely and hurt your heart must be, but know that I haven't given up on you either. My kid, rush for the bright future that lies ahead of you." Lena was astounded by this lyrical turn of events. Her soul friend had given her with a ticket to a new life, and she was still unsure of what to do with it. Sure enough, Bev's children eventually appeared in fancy automobiles, acting as though they were in real pain, and asked Lena for help. However, Lena knew she was doing it for herself and the lady who had transformed her life when she graciously reprimanded them and moved into the mansion that had been presented to her. What lessons may we draw from this tale? Be the sunshine for someone else. When Lena ran upon Beverly, she wasn't feeling well herself, who, albeit hiding their affluence, had nothing. Despite her meager resources, Lena offered food and company to the defenseless blind woman out of kindness. You will always be blessed in some manner by the generosity you show others. Lena made the decision to go above and above to assist Beverly, who was blind and destitute. She never thought how that act of compassion would come back to transform her life. Talk about this tale with your companions. It might motivate them and make their day better. You might appreciate this tale about two kind police officers who see a needy grab a pizza for the starving girl on the street. The cops are shocked to learn that the same girl had located them and paid them a visit years later. This essay was prepared by a professional writer and was motivated by anecdotes from our readers' daily lives. Any similarity to real names or places is entirely accidental. All pictures are just meant to serve as examples. Tell us your tale and perhaps it will make a difference in someone's life. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.